Shakia.
Got the knowledge, y'all.
Hi you guys, my name is Guru Shakia and welcome to my beautiful channel. Today we are going to discuss what I think about marijuana. Now, me personally, I've been a smoker on and off for several years. I want to say around 17. I used to smoke initially because everyone around me would do it just to de-stress, to cope with their life. Back then, I used to use it to basically check out, because to be honest, around that age, I didn't know where the heck I was going, what I wanted to do with myself. So I would just smoke, and that was pretty much everything there was to do, was just to smoke and hang out. And so my relationship has been kind of on and off, like good and bad in a sense. Because depending on the grade I would smoke at the time would depend on like how I felt. So meaning like mids, good grade A, or like even the types of forms it came in, which was like hash. It all depended on like, you know, that matter of like what the form was, what the grade was. So my experience has been kind of like good and bad with it. But for instance, my bad experience was hitting hash out of a bowl, and basically that had me like shaking like crazy in a shower, and my friend at the time had to calm me down for hours. But it's been times where, you know, you have the grade A, like red hairs type stuff, and you feel like a Rasta. But basically I used to do it because everyone around me would do it, and basically to cope with stress. And then it got to a point where I decided, like, am I really doing this for myself, or am I doing it because everyone else around me is doing it? And so I kind of went on a slight break until I dated the last guy I dated, and he was a heavy smoker, so I ended up getting back into smoking again. But after that, when I became single a few years ago, I went on like a straight, I just stopped smoking altogether, and basically I figured out that it was kind of a thing which was like out of sight is out of mind. So I figured out I was fine without it, and basically I came to the conclusion, even after trying it again recently, which was not such a good experience because I ended up being paranoid. But I figured out that I'm just not the person to be a smoker, even though for years and years and years I thought it was such a cool thing, because I thought it was something that like hippies do, for example, and I always thought hippies are cool, and I just want to be hippie and free-spirited. But you don't have to do that in order to be a hippie and free-spirited. But I just figured out with myself that it's not something that I need to do, and it might be because I'm just naturally high off life, and to the point where if I smoke now, it just puts me in a whole nother plane that I don't really have to be on, because I'm already high off life all the time. But it's how I feel about it. It's like to each his own. I definitely don't think it's a bad outside videos suck. I definitely don't think it's a bad thing, because I feel like there's many healing properties that come into play with it, which is like the healing oils that come out of it. And you probably heard the stories of helping people cure cancer. I do feel like it can help people with stress and coping with stress and ailments and aches and pains. I do feel like it can even help in spiritual awakening symptoms, if you guys been following that in my channel as well. I do feel like that has been something that even sparked my own spiritual awakening. But so in a sense, I feel like it is helpful that it's around, and that everyone gets to do it. And I do feel like it keeps kind of everyone mellowed out and chill. And I read a quote before by Eckhart Tolle, and he's basically a spiritual teacher that I read all of his books. He basically said if we didn't have all the drugs we have now to basically sedate our egoic society, it would have basically collapsed a long time ago, and everyone would have been like more mad than we already are. So I feel like it is kind of like sedating our society so that the egoic energy doesn't kind of take over, if that makes any sense. But me personally, I feel like I don't need it personally, but I do feel like it helps others, and I don't knock anyone who does it. I know people who do it, but that is my relationship with it. It's been like a love-hate thing, and ultimately I feel like I had to let it go. But yeah, that's my viewpoint on it, and I hope you guys like that insight, that video, even though it was just short. Check out my other videos and the first time I did shrooms.